Coming into season 24, there's a number of changes that are taking place entering the season. One of which is the Endurance Championship, which consists of 5 races, being the Grand Prix of Road Atlanta, the American 700, the Independence 400 at Daytona, which moves to the 4th of July, in place of the American 700, which moves to Labor Day weekend, or Memorial Day weekend rather, the Indianapolis 250, and the season finale ARCSOA World Championships at Port Skyline. With this Endurance Championship, these races will no longer be per se double points, to say the least. With that also being said, there is a different point system this year as well. The point system will be listed as follows on the screen right now. So as shown on the screen, first place will get 30 points, second place will get 25, third will get 20, fourth will get 18, fifth position will get you 16, sixth 14, seventh 12, eighth will give you 10, 9 will give you 8, 10 will give you 6, and then 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 through 11th through 15th. As in the past we've seen in the series, 16th and below will not get you any points, so there will be 0 points awarded to 16th and down. The only major change, though, is for the endurance races. Instead of 30 points for the win, the winner will get 50, so 20 extra points for winning an endurance race. So Road Atlanta, the American 700, the Independence 400, the Indianapolis 250, and the World Championships at Port Skyline. Those races will award 50 points for winning the championship, or for winning those races. Nothing else changes, though, so there's a big 25-point gap between first and second at those races. So winning those endurance races are even more paramount than they used to be. Also, in addition to that, there are no bonus points for leading laps, leading the most laps, or for qualifying, so it's all dependent on where you finish in the race. Also new for Season 24 is the new reliability upgrade schedule. Basically, teams get 5 upgrade points that get applied to all of their cars. And there's a list of approved technologies such as improved brakes, paddle gearbox, lighter engine components, all the way down to some pretty wacky stuff, like an automated robot pit crew that you can get if you use all 5 of your points. Depending on how much they cost you in upgrade points, there are different levels of different results. So, for example, like upgraded brakes will give you 2 chassis rating points, or will improve your chassis rating. However, that only costs 1 point, and it's not a big jump there. Outside of that, the only other different one kind of in there is the free engine per car. So we'll get to that in a second, but there's going to be allocated numbers of engines that are allowed. So basically, unless if you own a team, you don't have to worry about this. But each team only gets 5 points. So, and depending on how good they are, each technology is worth a certain number of points, and this team by itself can only spend 5 points. But let's say if you put improved brakes, if you spend improved brakes, all the cars on a team will get that. So that is kind of a new thing as well, and we'll get to the engine components here in a second. So for this season, there also is each car is limited to a certain number of engines per year. Basically, each car is allowed, it's almost kind of like a retirement counter. Each car is only allowed to retire 6 times all year before incurring a 5 grid spot penalty. Now, this doesn't count in any of the endurance races, so you get a free pass at Road Atlanta, the season opener, the American 700, the Independence 400, Indy 250, and World Championship races. Those don't count toward the retirement counter, basically. It's basically an engine counter, so you're allowed 6 engines. if anything goes wrong on your car, outside of the rare occurrence that you get a tire failure taking you out of the race, which I've seen happen before, and I'll be kind of picky with that. If there's a component that breaks on the car that doesn't have anything to do with the engine, I'll not take away one for that. But you're allowed 6 of them a year. So if the car has a transmission problem, an engine go up, if it crashes out of the race, because a lot of times if it crashes, the engine's got to get pulled because the engine's totaled, fuel lines, etc. That'll count as one engine go up. So for 20 remaining races, other than the 5 one-off races, or not, 5 special endurance races, for 20 of the remaining races, you have 6 engines. Shouldn't be too hard to accomplish to get through the rest of the season. Now, as I said in the upgrade point, a team can buy for 3 upgrade points a 7th engine and will incur no penalty for that. However, if they don't do that and they get onto their 7th engine, that's a 5 grid spot penalty. If for some reason then their 7th engine doesn't make it and they have to go to an 8th one, if they have an 8th retirement, or they have to go into their 8th, then they will have a 10 grid spot penalty, and this goes all the way up until basically they're at the back of the grid. So for every number of retirements past 6 that would require an engine change, that's 5 grid spot penalty. So 7th engine gets 5 grid spot penalty, 8th gets 10, 9th gets 15, 10th gets 20, 11th engine gets you 25 grid spot penalty, and a 30th engine and a 30 grid spot penalty for a 12th engine, I believe. I believe that's how it works. Let me figure that out again. 7th would get 5 grid spot penalty, 8th would get 10, 9th would get 15, 10th would get 20th, 11th would get 25, 12th would get 30. Yeah, I was correct in the long run. So grid spot penalties are going to be huge there. So, and that only affects you for one race. So if you get onto your 7th and you don't fall out, you'll be back in your normal qualifying position until you have to go to your 8th. Furthermore, not a whole lot else is changing. There's going to be another team preview video, so do not fret too much about that. You'll see some of the other cars when I get them. You'll see some of the other cars. The 3 strikes rule is back, so you get 3 strikes. If a driver does 3 silly things, they get suspended for a race. So that's pretty big there as well. So don't do bad things on track. Without further ado, that's pretty much it for next season. And if there's anything else, I will highlight it as well. All right.